Hey guys! Welcome to this week's review of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Season 16, I believe. Episode 1 review. So, I will admit, guys, I'm pretty new to the OC. I feel like I maybe started watching 2 seasons ago. I don't know. The OC just never really appealed to me. For some reason, I don't know. Like, I remember when I was a kid and my aunt used to watch it and I would watch bits of it with her, but I always thought it was just boring. I don't know. But for some reason, I gave it a shot 2 seasons ago. And I mean, it is... I can't even say I enjoyed watching it. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But I definitely think I kind of missed I missed when it was at its heights. I definitely watched, clips of it on YouTube and the whole Vicky and her boyfriend and him faking cancer and whatever. I'm pretty sure watching that season probably would have been interesting. But the last 2 seasons, actually, you know what? This may be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't think last season was that bad. I did kind of enjoy it. You know what I mean? Yes, COVID was going on, so there were limitations on filming, but it wasn't a bad season at all, but it seems like everybody else thought it was. And Elizabeth, okay, I can understand why they didn't ask her to come back, right? And at the beginning, she was kind of weird. I wasn't really too much into her. But then by the end of the season, when we get to know part of her backstory and the fact that she was in a religious cult and everything, it was like, damn, she actually is interesting. Although that sounds bad to say because I don't want someone's serious trauma to be fodder for my entertainment, right? So although it is an interesting story, I can understand why maybe Bravo was like, that's a little too deep for us. We don't want to go there, right? With her. But I don't know. I feel like they should have gave another chance, but I guess because she has no kids, she did have a boyfriend, but he was it didn't really seem like he enjoyed being in front of the cameras, and that relationship was weird, and she kept a lot of stuff hidden because she used to be married to this uber rich guy, and she was going through a divorce, and I guess there was just a lot of things working against Elizabeth, but I wouldn't mind if she got another shot, but I understand why she didn't. Broadwin, okay, I know she was abusing her husband, okay, which is terrible. I don't think Broadwin is the greatest person, but why isn't Broadwin back? Was it her decision? I don't think so. Okay, I know Broadwin isn't popular, but she has an interesting life. She's married. Is she still married? Who knows, right? I haven't really been keeping up with her. But she's married to a man, but she's in a relationship with another woman. That's very interesting to me. So I'm kind of surprised that Broadwin wasn't asked back. And we find out that Nuella, the new girl, she used to be friends with Broadwin and they fell out. That could have been interesting to see being played out on film. So I'm kind of disappointed, right? I guess maybe because Broadwin, was kind of abusing her husband physically and things of that nature. Maybe, like Elizabeth, Bravo thought that Broadwin's storyline was too much. But I'm here for it. I'm here for that journey. But I will say this, because she is, a recovering alcoholic, it probably is really hard to film a reality television show, right? Kudos to Luann from Real Housewives of New York. she's able to do it, right? But I'm pretty sure she struggles. But she can, I feel like Luann handles it with a little bit more class. No pun intended. Money Can't Buy You Class, if you guys, obviously, you know that song. But I think with Brawin, maybe because it was just so fresh, and she is a very emotional person, I don't know if she could handle it, right? And it seems like the new Tres Amigas, they drink a lot, so I understand why for her sobriety it's probably not healthy for her to be on the show. But if she were to get into a better place, I would be interested in seeing more from her. I don't know. It's kind of sad that she's not on the show. Who else? Kelly. It seems that they fired everybody. Oh my gosh. Kelly Dodd, she's like Ramona for me, right? You know that if you put Kelly in the scene, you're going to get a scene. It's going to be interesting, right? But she's just so problematic, right? And she's such a, let me rephrase that. She can be an a-hole. I'm not going to call her an a-hole. I'm going to say her actions can be a-hole-ish, right? So she shot herself in the foot. She did it to herself, right? So it's like, you're crazy, you're entertaining, but like, I understand why they didn't ask you back. You're kind of more of a liability, right? She's giving me Ramona, except Ramona compared to Kelly Dodd is a little bit more stable still. That's not good. Anybody else from last season that didn't come back? I think that's everybody. And if I forgot somebody, well, they're not worth mentioning. So let's jump into the present season. They brought Heather back. Now, I didn't watch the show when Heather was on, but I've seen clips. I saw the clip of the cake and someone eating the bow off of her cake. Right? I saw clips of when I think they went to Ireland and she had like a moment with Kelly and everything on the bus when, I'm not going to get into that. If you watch, you'll see, Shannon and her husband at the time, and let's move forward, right? I didn't really, from what I've seen of Heather, she does come off pretentious, right? And I didn't really like her from the clips, right? And I think that's kind of unfair for me to judge her for just seeing kind of a snapshot of her personality. So I'm going to go into this season open-minded about her. I still think she is pretentious. I still, for some reason, she doesn't gel with my spirit so far. However, I do see her value on the show. I do see what she contributes, right? Like, she's wealthy. She's married, she has a bunch of kids, and it is called The Real Housewives of whatever, right? So she fits the mold. And I do think I wouldn't say she is opinionated, but she has a personality and she isn't afraid to speak her mind and say what she has to say. So she's definitely going to give you something. And like I said, I don't have to like somebody to realize that they're good for the show. And I do think that she's good for the show. I'm not going to say however, right? It is the first episode, so my expectations are not too high when it comes to the first episode. We're kind of just being introduced to everybody, but this episode was kind of boring. I don't know. So, like, Heather, I swear, like, half the episode was Heather showing off her gigantic, I would even call it a home, mansion, estate, I don't know what you would call it, right? And maybe I'm in a place where I'm kind of bitter, but it just gets to a point where I'm rolling my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, it's a nice home, but for me, it's like, I can't imagine having that much, like, 11 bedrooms? Like, well, she does have a biggish kind of family, right? She has what, 4 kids? And like the beginning of the episode when she's like talking about all her children and da 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 is like, I didn't really care, but that's because I didn't watch the show before, right? So I'm not really attached to these people. I'm just wondering what, like, is this the Heather show? Like, what's going on? I'm kind of like, you know, they were trying to make it a big moment because she's back, but I'm pretty sure if you watch the show before and you like Heather, that would have been a good moment for you. Not for me, but for you. And okay, I can accept that. So Heather has a big damn mansion, okay? That's great. Moving on. Gina and Emily. I like Gina and Emily. They really grown on me. I think I started watching the OC when they first came on. So, you know, I know them. I know their characters. They have a really good friendship and they seem to have fun together. I like the banter back and forth. So I'm glad that they're back. I'm enjoying them, you know? Shannon, I like Shannon too. She's entertaining, but it is kind of awkward for Shannon because I feel like all her friends, Vicky, Tamra, well, they're not really friends. They're more like frenemies, to be honest with you. But I don't know. With Shannon, you kind of feel like she doesn't really get along with Emily and Gina, right? Was it Gina? Yes. Her and Gina have been getting closer, but it seems like by the end of this episode, that whole thing is falling apart. I definitely get the vibes that they're only really hanging out with each other because this is their job at the end of the day and they're co-workers. So Shannon is definitely in an awkward position, right? And you can kind of feel that sort of tension, like she's not really friends with anybody. And moving on, we're introduced to Noella. And when I was just recently Googling, because I forgot her name and the other new girl's name, right? And I remember hearing about a housewife getting a divorce and being in debt and being sued and all that crap. And it turns out it's Noella. And it's so funny because when I was watching it, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But when she was talking about her husband, Sweet James, and she was like, oh, he's so amazing. He's so awesome. He's the best in the world. He's the sweetest and kindest person. That's why he's called Sweet James. I don't know. My antenna kind of went, wee woo, wee woo. Like, I don't know. Like, when someone has to call themselves sweet, you know, if I called myself kind and amazing Sophia, I don't know. When someone has to call themselves a thing, it usually means that they're not that thing. And to be fair, I don't know the husband. We haven't met him yet. I don't know what's going on. But I just felt like she was laying things on a bit thick, right? But I gave her the benefit of the doubt because she's new to the show and she has to introduce herself. So I understand you have to be a little bit more forward and braggadocious about what you have, right? When in real life, you probably wouldn't do that. So it's kind of funny now I find out that she's getting a divorce and she's in debt and all this stuff. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see how that plays out. On a positive note, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't want to say I like her for now because I need to see more, but she definitely seems like she's going to bring the entertainment value. And she definitely seems like the type of person that isn't afraid to speak her mind and say what she has to say. And judging by the trailer of the upcoming season, I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. Who else? Jen the doctor, Dr. Jen. I didn't really get too much of an impression, right? When they showed the scene at her house with her husband and everything, it was really, really awkward, right? Like, you can tell that they were uncomfortable with the cameras being there. I don't know. I just got that vibe. The husband was very, like, he was very uncomfortable, right? So I don't want to judge them too harshly based off of that one scene. But, their marriage seems interesting. I don't know. Let me be nice. I can't judge them based off that one scene. Like I said, being around the cameras for the first time, I would be super uncomfortable. So I'm just gonna say it was the cameras and they're not quite used to that yet. But, like, I don't know. It feels like she was trying to present this sort of, I don't want to say she was trying to present this perfect family situation. I think she was very honest with what it was, but she was trying to present the best of that. And it seemed the husband wasn't really on the same page, and he was kind of just calling her out on everything, like saying, well, you're never home. So I guess the husband had to go somewhere for business. And she was like, oh, I'm going to have to take care of the kids and that's going to be hard. And he was like, well, you never take care of the kids anyway, so it won't be a big difference. And she's like, yeah, because you have a nanny. The nanny takes care of the kids. Yeah, the nanny totally takes care. Like, that scene was just so weird. It was so weird, but I'm going to see, I'll wait to see more of their interaction, right? It's not fair to just judge off of that one scene. Moving on, and then we're introduced to Nicole. I think she's a friend of the show. She's not an official housewife, right? And, oh my gosh, now going into the storyline, which was kind of the only storyline really going on. The whole thing about Nicole allegedly sued Heather's husband, who's a plastic surgeon. I guess she was botched. Pun intended, for those who know Heather's husband. I don't know if that show is still on, but Heather's husband is on the show called Botched, where him and the ex-husband of the Beverly Hills... Okay, the damn show. Let me not get into it, right? Like, I'm kind of grateful for this bit of breadcrumb, because by the end of the episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's terrible, right? Like, I want drama, but I was kind of bored, you know what I mean? And, it's kind of weird when you have all these new people, and it's okay, we're being introduced to everybody, but you also kind of want to see, okay, how's it going to be when they all get together? What is the vibe going to be like? You know what I mean? So I guess this whole thing that Shannon used to be friends with Nicole, and she knows that Nicole allegedly sued Heather's husband for something. We don't really quite know what it is yet. But like, Shannon doesn't want to tell Heather because I don't know, to be honest, I don't know why Shannon wouldn't want to tell Heather. Right? But Shannon told Gina and Emily, but told them not to tell anybody. Don't say anything. But then Emily is like, well, she told me, I'm a lawyer, because Emily's a lawyer. She told her to kind of look it up, right? Look up the case. And oh my gosh. It's like, on one hand, okay, I'm not gonna give Shannon credit, but I'm like, okay, that stirs up the drama, and I guess it makes it a little bit more entertaining, because if Shannon just straight up went to Heather and told her what she knew, then we would have got to the storyline faster, right? This just, I guess, delays the situation. And then, of course, Gina is going to go and tell Heather, and then Shannon's going to be mad at Gina, and that's going to be another secondary or a branch off of that storyline. So that's going to carry out throughout the season. So, I mean, it gives us something, but it just seems really it seems really silly. I don't know. It just seems really silly. I'm not going to say forced, but it's like, it's just a bit contrived, but I'm here for it. I'm here because, I'm nosy. I want to know, okay, why was he sued? What's going on? Why is it this big secret? How is Heather going to act? And it's like by the end of the episode, we do have all the ladies coming together because Heather is throwing some event for, I don't know why, but she's doing it and I'm here for it. Right? So we're going to get everybody together. And from the preview of the next episode, it seems like a lot of stuff is going to be going down. And it seems like, okay, the first episode was a little, boring. But the second episode is going to, I hope, really pick up. And it doesn't need to pick up by much. Just, give us a little something more. Just a little bit, right? And I'm here for it. One more thing I want to talk about, Gina and her ex-husband. As you guys know, like, it's very unclear, but it seems like her ex-husband physically assaulted her, right? And he has been charged, and there's this whole thing going on where she had to testify in court against her ex, right? And what made it harder for her, one, they have children, and two, they seem to be getting along because, of COVID, everything was delayed. So their relationship was kind of improving since they both kind of have moved on with their lives. So it was hard for her then to kind of bring everything back up by talking about the incident, right? But I loved when she said at the end, when she was talking about it in her confessionals, right, that her kids get to see their mom, standing up and not accepting abuse and doing the right thing. And they get to see their father take accountability for his bad behavior, right? And I hope that despite all that, they can move forward and, be good co-parents, which it seems like they're doing, So I just want to give, kudos to Gina. That must have been really, really hard for her to do. I can't even imagine, right? But she seems to be in a lot better place than what she was from what I've seen a couple of seasons ago, right? And even Emily was like, you know what, we're getting along. It's a lot better because Gina is in a better place. She's really happy with her life and she met somebody new. And yeah, did I think that was kind of fast last season? Sure, but you know what? They're still together and it seems like she really loves him and she's happy, and I wish her the best. I really do. I like Gina and I like Emily, as I said before. So, did I forget anything? If I did, it wasn't really that important. Anyway, guys, that's it. See ya.